What's up, everyone? Welcome back to You're Such a Nerd, the Geek Variety podcast, coming up to the speed of a couple of Gen X millennials on 3 megabytes per second broadband, just trying to stream some Netflix. Did it work? We're about to find out, because I'm your host, Johnny Doe. Let's go. Welcome back to the show, everyone. If you're new, welcome. If you're an old pro, welcome back. For my conversation with my buddy Drew about gaming and movies and what the heck he's doing still not having Netflix in this day and age. I apologize for the sound quality. Apparently internet speeds can still be bad, just like back in 2007. But hey, we had a good time nonetheless. If you'd like to support the show, we have a Patreon at a very reasonable rate, might I add. It's linked in the show notes below wherever you are listening to this or watching this if you're on YouTube. Being a member of the Patreon will get you access to all the ad-free episodes that you can handle, both of the main feed and the additional content like Critics Corners and Hobby Hangouts. I'd like to take this time to thank all of our patrons. We appreciate every single one of you. And, of course, extra special love to our Initiate level supporters, Kevin C., Tim Ball, and our newest Initiate, one, It's Just Physics.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Love you guys. Appreciate all that you do for us and to support the show and share your hard-earned beans with us, because you don't have to. You can do it anywhere else, but you do it here supporting creatives, and we really appreciate it. Other ways that you can support the show is to like, rate, and subscribe and all that stuff on the platforms of your choice. Leave us a 5-star review if you believe we've earned it. Don't if you don't think we have. Keep an eye out for our merch drop coming soon, and just spread the word. The show is entirely guerrilla marketed. No social media presence, so go out and make a new friend over some delicious pollo de brasa and some habichuela. And when you're done with the main course, sit back over some café con leche and maduros. Tell them about the show. Tell them to listen. Tell them to avoid it. Your call. We appreciate it either way. If you have any questions or want to correct us on something we screwed up, by all means, send us an email at younerdssuck@gmail.com. Also in the links below. And if you just can't get enough of my voice and enjoy war games and all things grimdark, then check out my other show with Jesse Aiken called Saints and Sevens about the Trench Crusade game and the culture surrounding it. And last but not least, before we get started, if you are so inclined, send me a postcard. The address is also down below, and I'll send you one back. We just got our latest order in for our new limited edition to 100 80s synthwave hair metal inspired art. Super sick if I do say so myself. So let's support the Postal Service and be real humans with each other. It'll be a lot better than getting an unsolicited notification of the expiration of your water pipe warranty in the mail, because I don't even know what the heck that is, but apparently it's a thing you get. Anyways, now without further ado, my condensation pump and my conversation with my buddy Drew. Enjoy. One of the games we're playing is, excuse me, needs 6 objectives. So it was like the perfect little file. But to that point of trying to use up my filament, it was like 20 grams of filament. I was like, damn it. Just want to burn through my
You're going to get it down to that one last string.
Yeah.
And you're not going to know what to print with.
Yeah, I'm just going to stare at it and be like, well, what do I do? I'll probably just cut it off and throw it away at that point. So, but I'm like totally I'm totally paranoid because I accidentally did the cutter after my very first print, because I was just I'm terrible about I'm just gonna mess with it and figure out what how the thing works kind of person, and so I was messing with the extruder and everything, and then I caused a jam, and it was this whole hassle. It took me 2 days to be able to get it cleared because time and figuring out what the hell I was doing. I have a better idea now of how to get it out, but yeah, I just probably will get to the end of and just put in the next gray one, or I'll probably just end up dropping on another black roll of filament and just be like, why did I even bother buying gray filament? I just should have just bought all black like a dum-dum. But whatever, it's fine.
And you learn the lessons as you go by.
That's exactly what this is. This is a learning lesson for me, for sure.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, and someone was like, oh, hey man, you can monetize that thing, because they were impressed with the prints that were coming out. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm not here for that. I said, I'm not here for monetizing my freaking printer. I'm not here for any extra fiddly bits. I just want to press print and let it run. And I want a nice print to be out on the back end so I can just paint it. I can have it for my table. That's the whole reason I bought this stupid thing. It's already paying for itself because it's so cheap to make terrain, And I'm like, a whole table of terrain for MCP or Trench Crusade or something. I mean, if you were to buy kits, what is that? Probably a couple $100 at least, right? Minimum $300-$400.
MCPs are very, very expensive.
Yeah, and then you got to put it together.
Yeah,
and printing it, it's just bloop, there it is.
Exactly. Yeah, I love. I started getting into 3D printing in college, but it was a full DIY kit. I loaded on the software. I was like connecting the like power source to like the different capacitors and stuff.
Oh my God.
And it was part of like my engineering courses.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that thing to work. I think it's because I put it together on like carpet, and I think I shorted out the capacitors. I'm like, static buildup. So it's just like sat on a shelf forever. And finally, I threw it away.
That was when like printers were like you had to build them basically, right?
Oh yeah, this is like this would have been like what 2015 something like that.
Yeah,
but it was like the cheapest printer on the market, and it was like for a class for manufacturing engineering for manufacturing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the professor kept saying like, I can't believe that printers are this cheap. I can't believe you can get a printer this cheap. And now you can get like a fully built printer for $200.
Yeah. My buddy was
with software built to do it.
Yeah, right. Like that's why I went with Bamboo, right? Not sponsored by Bamboo, but you know, hey, if they ever want to sponsor me, I don't know what they would give me other than more filament because I don't have space for more printers. But they like the A1. I looked at the A1, so I ended up getting the P2S, right? Which it's because of the enclosure, because it's down here in my basement, and I mean, even now it was like 100 degrees outside today, and it's like only 65 down here in this basement. At the end of the day, so like it never like breaks like 65, and it gets pretty cool in the winter. It drops down to about like 50, 55 sometimes if it gets really cold outside. So like I needed something that based on my research, I needed like an enclosed printer instead of like an open bed. So because I was going to go with the A1 initially, but then I started reading up on the the effects of like ambient temperature and everything. So I was like, well, let me just play it safe. And then of course I couldn't leave well enough alone and just go with the P1S. I had to look at it and be like, well, they're going to stop supporting it in like 2030 or something. So, like whatever. Just a sucker.
It could last that long.
Yeah, right. Exactly. If I don't blow it up somehow, which would not surprise me. So yeah.
Yeah, I got an Ender 3 Pro, I don't know, 5 years ago now, and that thing was a pain in the butt to work with. Every time I had to print, I had to work on it. I had to do something. I had to like balance, like level the bed, or I had to like unclog something.
Yeah.
Or like something wasn't working, and it got to the point where I just didn't print because I didn't want to work on it anymore.
Yep.
And I told my wife, I was like, I feel like it's sitting there. I really want to do 3D printing. I'm going to buy a Bamboo because I know it'll work. And I know how to fix things now.
Yeah.
I'm fixing it the whole time. Once I fired that Bamboo P1S up, I was singing to me.
Forget about it, right? I think it's so easy.
Yeah. Oh, singing. I was like, I just printed a full print that would have taken me a full day to do in like an hour.
Yeah. My buddy was all pissed at
me. And I didn't do anything for it.
Yeah, that's exactly. My buddy was all pissed at me because they have a couple open beds, a couple enclosed, and they also do resin. And they were like, "Oh, okay, well, it's going to take you a little while to get things up and get started, whatever." And I was like, sent them a text or a picture of the printer running, and it was like, they're like, how long have you been working on that? When did you get it? Because I thought you just got it. Because I literally like unboxed it, and 20 minutes later, I had the print running. Like it's like one of those other things. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, you got the wrong printer, man. So.
Yeah, like that Ender 3, that took me like a day and a half. They did it together just with the kids and like things to do, and didn't have all the time to commit to it.
Yeah.
It took so long to put together, level everything out, get the axis lined up, and then the P1S, I just pull it out of the box, set it down, hook up a couple things, plug it in, good to go.
Yeah,
ready to go.
It does it all itself. It's crazy.
Exactly. It's amazing.
I told him I was like this. I'm like looking at the Bamboo app on my phone, just like watching the thing print, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a problem. I can tell already. I like this thing. I'm too stoked about this thing, just watching it print, and that's been the case. So I'm like I'm gonna have to get some bookshelves down here for terrain apparently, because I'm just gonna be a printing fiend. And then they were like, well, next up's gonna be resin. And you're going to start printing models. I was like, absolutely not. There's no way in hell I'm getting resin. It's too fiddly. And they're like, no, it's easier. And I'm like, nah, you got to clean crap, and you need like UV, and there's chemicals. And I don't have the space. I don't have the desire. I don't want to print a bunch of models. Like, nope, I'm good. Like, I just want terrain. This is a functional thing that saves me money on actually like buying and time on building terrain. So like, that's the whole reason I got it.
I'm going to, this might open a door for you. But have you looked at getting a smaller nozzle?
Yeah, like a 0.2. Yeah. Because you can print models. I've heard on the 0.2, and
I've printed one. I did one to Jeffy.
Did it come out all right?
I definitely got. Yep. Yeah, I printed out like a little J. Jonah Jameson.
Sick.
It turned out okay. I mean, it's passable. I told him I'd use it as terrain or something.
Yeah.
to play like a little stage on a dance thing to throw at somebody.
That's amazing. I've got a little Stanley on a park bench. That's a piece of terrain.
It'll be next month, yeah.
Yeah. My buddy said I should make it like immovable terrain. Like an immovable size 5.
Yeah, essentially. Movable size 5.
Yeah.
I made it where like Stage on a dance thing you could throw at somebody, but it doesn't just throw them. So you can throw them at 8 people.
That's amazing.
All the time. And I thought about like adding like in some like rules where you could interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would call it libel. The ability to be called libel, and it just like drains power from everybody around him.
Oh, that's amazing.
You're just like writing nasty stuff about everybody.
I love homebrewing stuff. It's so much fun.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
Drew, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Stoked.
Glad to be on.
Yeah, we tried to line this
Long
up a couple
listener,
times.
First time caller.
You know, like, do you ever think about the fact that like radio doesn't exist anymore? Not really.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really exist.
My wife still listens to it, but I don't. Because I'm usually listening to podcasts or something.
Yeah.
I remember like in college, I was listening to radio all the time.
Oh, for sure, man.
All the time.
My wife
did the long drive down to college.
So my wife's been rewatching Grey's Anatomy for some reason, and like listening to the soundtrack of Grey's Anatomy, I'm just like, man, remember when it was all like as a band, like unless you're like in like metal and stuff like that, but if you're like kind of like a mainstream pop band, like you just work to try to get your song on some stupid teenage drama show or something like that. Like they used all the mainstream songs from back in the day, and now I was talking to
movie.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to a buddy, and they were talking about this bodybuilder, and that they had a podcast or whatever, but it was on Sirius, like Sirius Radio. And I wanted to stop him and be like, that's not a podcast. That's called a talk show. But we don't do talk shows anymore as a society. So of course it's a podcast, but it's on broadcast radio. Like so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cheating.
Exactly. I mean, it's changed. It's changing, man.
It's changing.
Drew, so wanted to get together and talk. Obviously, we're going to talk about some MCP because we're both MCP nerds. I'm an MCP casual nerd. They're just a filthy casual over here. But for like, how did you get into gaming? That's a thing that I always love to hear, and I'm very curious if there's a Games Workshop Nexus, because I feel like there's always a Games Workshop Nexus for everyone.
I'm the curious Games Workshop Nexus, if you could say that.
Nice.
So like I was a late bloomer, so I didn't start like tabletop gaming until like 2019.
Oh, okay. So like COVID, you're like a COVID era gamer. Okay.
Yeah. So like I my whole childhood I was playing like video games, Halo, Call of Duty, all that stuff, and then like I started playing RTSs once I got my own computer. And one of the things I saw a YouTuber playing was Warhammer Civil War too. And so I was watching, I was like, there's dinosaurs riding dinosaurs on this thing. It's like right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Right in my wheelhouse. I love dinosaurs, and get 2 sets of dinosaurs in one unit. It's cool. So then I'm going to paint one of these models because I think it's cool. So I ordered one, painted it up, and I was like, I'm going to build an army of it because I think it will look good on the shelf.
Yeah.
So I started like accumulating all this stuff. Then COVID hit. And then there's like a mini swap Reddit page that did like a secret Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And I signed up for it because it was like secret Santa during COVID. So it was kind of a way to connect with people. And one of the guys, he only played 40K. Okay. And I started looking at, like researching. I was like, what did he want? And then because of that, I got into 40K.
Oh boy.
And started painting up some of those models. And then I realized it's taken me too long to paint 5 Marines.
Yeah.
It's taken me like a month.
Yeah.
Because I put like all the little extra fiddly bits on them.
Mm-hmm.
So they got chains and like fire coming out of their bases and all this stuff. And like, I can't paint a whole army like this. Then I found Kill Team. And I started playing Kill Team.
All right.
That was like my first foray into like tabletop playing games with
Kill
people.
Team.
Yeah. Kill Team 21. So it was like when they just revamped it.
Yeah, that was before the crazy terrain rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was researching Kill Team before then, and then they released the new edition. I'm like, I'll give it a shot. I think my wife ended up taking me up to our local shop, which I had never been to before then, for like our anniversary. So she wanted me to just kind of check it out. And then from there, I was kind of hooked. I found out they regularly met up. I started playing that. And from there, it went on to MCP, because one of the people who played Kill Team played MCP.
Okay.
And I just bought a model for Moon Knight because the Moon Knight show was going on at the time.
That was a good show.
And painted it up. That's how I got into MPP.
So
playing it ever since.
Did you like, were you a comics guy growing up or no?
Yes and no. Like my dad had a bunch of comics and I read some of his older ones, but I didn't really read it like super religiously.
Mm-hmm.
But I love superheroes.
Okay.
But I didn't know a lot about them.
Were you an MCU kind of person then? Like you get into the movies? Yeah.
Yep. Captain America was my jam.
Okay.
So we watched when first Iron Man came out. It was cool. Revolutionary almost.
Yeah, I would say, especially, it launched a almost 20-year.
Still going.
Still going, like we're having to actually recreate characters and recast characters because they have gotten so old.
It's too old now.
Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. I was, gosh, how did I get to that point? I think, so I was training for a half marathon and I had started trying to listen to podcasts on my long runs instead of just listening to music to give my brain something else to do to, other than just think about my suffering. And I went back and there's an old show that I used to listen to called the D6 Generation. And those guys stopped recording probably 2020 regularly, and then they just did some one-offs here and there and for a couple of years, but they were really long time running, like well over 10 years, and back during the board game boom and all that stuff. And they had an episode that was from when MCP was announced at Adepticon, like in 2019 when it was first, I think it was 2019 when it was first announced. And I was like, oh, this will be interesting. It'll be to go back almost 10 years, to the inception of this game and see what people's first perceptions were on this game, because it's been forever, because both of them got into playing MCP, the podcasters and stuff, and really enjoyed it. So I'd be like, I'd just be really curious to see what their initial thoughts were that long ago to see where it compares to now. And it was interesting because they were talking about the MCU and Robert Downey Jr. and all this kinds of stuff, as they were getting into it. And I remember thinking, I don't know why it came to me, but I was like, Robert Downey Jr., what did he do after Breakfast Club and those kinds of movies back then, up until he was cast as Iron Man, as Tony Stark. And then, but he launched an entire era of film and literally, what's the guy's name? Not Kevin Feige. He's a Star Wars guy. Or is he the Marvel guy? Or is he both? Is it Kevin Feige?
I think Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
I think he's Marvel.
He's a Marvel guy. Okay, yeah. So he made a statement because they're recasting him as Doom. They're having Tony Stark come back as Doom.
Yeah.
And he literally was like, we can't do Marvel without Robert Downey Jr., without RDJ, because he's in the live stream of this entire movie. So we didn't even think twice when we called him up and we're like, hey, you want to come back as Doom, right? Because people, I guess, were giving him grief for recasting, Robert Downey Jr. And I just thought about that. Could you imagine, hey, you've signed to a 17-year film gig?
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's nuts, man. Gosh.
Well, he rose from I think it's this is his big break again.
Yeah, totally. That's what I'm saying.
With Iron Man. Because he rose from the hatchet.
Yeah.
With just a career that was going downhill.
Yeah, what was he even doing before Iron Man, And then he just came in and everything changed. Now I understand he's talked very openly about addiction and alcoholism and these other things that played a role in his life, and he got sober and all this other kinds of stuff, which I think is awesome. Love to hear it. And I wonder if maybe that was contributing to kind of the down tier in his career during that point. But it was just really interesting to see this guy come out of nowhere and basically truly be responsible for effectively launching an entire, industry.
Yeah. Without Iron Man, there's no Avengers or Steve Rogers or anything like that.
I always felt a little disappointed because they really struck gold in Iron Man, and it was less grandiose, right? It was less heavy CGI, and then they just shot right into everything is going to be a major CGI battle at the end of every movie and all this kinds of stuff. And I love an ensemble cast, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what your feeling is about the MCU. I could definitely go through and have a whole rating day or episode about just talking about all the movies and the episodes or the shows and stuff like that, and my opinions on them. That's actually an idea. I should do that. Anyways, Like, let's go.
That's good.
But it's like, I just feel like they just, kind of overshot it at some point, and then it's just like Star Wars, right? And anything that Disney was doing is like, we're just going to shove it down your throat, even though it's mediocre, but hey, we're going to make money on it because of the IP,
Yeah. I think with like phase 1, 2, and 3, they had a pretty good idea of what the story trajectory is going to be.
Yeah.
It felt planned out. I don't think like phase 1 I think their end game was, let's do an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But after that, I think they were just seeing how that was received and see where they could go from there. But after Endgame, it felt like they were just kind of shooting off in all directions.
Yeah.
Trying to catch lightning in a bottle again.
Totally.
But really just using the same formula and not really adding anything to the rest of the MCU. I mean, I've watched a handful of them.
Yeah.
Because none of them really interested me and watched in the more recent phases.
So I, big fat nerd, right? I mean, shocker. But I generally...
That's a nerd, dude.
Yeah. Literally, I got the name for the podcast. Here's an Easter egg for anybody that maybe there'll be a quiz about this some year, like down the road. But I got it from my wife because she would always tell me that in an endearing way. Like I would do something where I'd be like totally like hyper fixated on something and talking ad nauseum to her about it. And she's just like smiling and laughing. She's like, babe, you're such a nerd. And I'm like, I am. You're right. This is true. So that's how that name actually ended up coming about, is because I got told that a lot. But anyways, so I actually have previously probably, I'm trying to figure out if I've done this since I became a father. I might not have done this since I became a father, but I would watch the entire timeline, like chronological, of the MCU from start to finish every year. And I've done it multiple times. And same thing with Star Wars too, of course, right? But there are far less movies with Star Wars, at least there were. So, and I would do episodes too, like the TV series too, or the streaming series as well. And
was it like more recent stuff too, not just like the Endgame?
Yeah, so I mean, it was after Endgame was around, even like so all through like the Captain Marvels and all of the stuff. And I there's some real flops, let me tell you. Whew. There was some difficult episodes, the ones you just turn on and walk away from and be like, that's just gonna be playing in the background while I paint.
Especially when you're stacking them up next to each other, like recently. So you just like stack up the really good ones, and then like the next week you're watching the really bad ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am excited.
Definitely know the difference.
I am excited for the Punisher, for them to like John Bernthal, because I feel like he did a great job on the original Punisher, and that was a not as well loved series as I thought it should have been. So I'm pretty stoked that they're bringing him back. So
I like John Bernthal as the Punisher. I think they did a great casting, and he does great. He does great work.
Yeah, he's actually a really cool podcast too. That's called The Real Ones with John Bernthal, and it's like a long format interview. And he actually had the actress who plays the blonde lawyer in Daredevil,
Sharon Tate.
Yes, thank you. I was like, I'm forgetting her name. And it turned out I didn't realize anything about it. And it was a very they got real deep in this podcast, in this episode. I was very surprised because I guess they knew each other from acting and stuff like that. And but one of the things that came out was she's like a professional DM for Dungeons and Dragons. And I had no idea. And John Bernthal had no idea what Dungeons and Dragons was. So it became this whole conversation of him being like, so wait, what? You just pretend? So I could have a sword and I could run and being like John Bernthal, I could just get in there, and he was he's getting all stoked about it. Yeah, it was great. It was a good episode. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna link that in this episode because I'll see if I can find it because it was actually a good watch. So
I did that clip of her telling him and him getting all excited about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where it was from.
Yep.
I'll definitely watch that.
It's like a 2-hour interview or something like that, and then they talk about her and her acting career and challenges she had and being and anxiety and all this other kinds of stuff, man. It was really good. That I was like, all right, that's cool.
I like those long format interviews, kind of dig into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I consume so many podcasts now. It's ridiculous. Jesse, who we obviously mutually know, he told me one time when I asked him, we were talking about podcasting, and I was saying some comment about, I don't know, about listening through podcasts or whatever, and he was like, nah, Johnny, that's not really normal. Most people don't listen to that many podcasts in a week. And I was like, really? He's like, no, not my experience. And I've been doing this a long time. I was like, oh, Interesting. Okay, then.
Look at the man in the mirror.
Yeah. So you're saying I'm the problem. For all my podcasting people that I listen to, you're welcome for the support and maintaining your numbers, because, man, sometimes I'm like, man, I could really use some extra episodes. This is really killing me. This is coming out so slow. I got nothing to listen to by Friday. Which is crazy.
You just find a new podcast at that point.
Yeah, well, I try, and I don't know. I have a hard time sometimes finding new things that, like, connect, I guess. I have like a very broad palette, you know, and I'm really anal retentive about like audio quality too. That's another one that really gets me on a lot of podcasts that I struggle with. So that's just another piece that sometimes can make it hard. I can find something that I'm like, oh, this would be a cool topic, and then I listen to it and I'm like, oh my god, you sound like you're talking to me through a tin can. I'm not gonna be able to manage listening to this for 2 hours. I'm sorry. So
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, for my work, I was driving like an hour to an hour and a half every day to get to work. So I was doing podcasts at a very rapid rate.
Yep.
To the point where I was running out of podcasts. So I started finding like some that had such a huge backlog, like stuff you should know or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one.
They got tons of stuff that you go back and listen to.
Yeah, I worked as a driver for a while, and it was the same thing. I would just chew through podcasts, and then I ended up getting an Audible account because I needed something other than podcasts to listen to because I ran out of podcasts consistently. And then I'm like, I got nothing. Audiobooks. That's my next one. Audiobooks. Then I just started listening to a crap ton of audiobooks. So I just bounced back and forth. Yeah.
Spotify has audiobook now.
They do. And I just actually got off Spotify. I've been on Spotify for a long time. And they, after this most recent price hike again, I was just like, you know what? I'm not about it. And you're putting ads in my damn podcasts that I listen to all the time, which I understand is like monetizing by the podcasters, generally speaking, although Spotify can also kind of push those in themselves. But I'm just like, it's like I was at a point of irritation because like Disney also is starting to put ads in shows and things like that, even if it's for their own stuff. Amazon's doing it, like everyone's doing it. And it's like, I pay for a subscription so I don't have to look at ads. I don't want ads.
You gotta pay for the cheaper.
Apparently, yeah, you got to upgrade. You got to get the high tech equipment to be able to watch the no ads.
Exactly.
So I got annoyed, and there was a thing with Apple that like it cost me the same amount of money, and I got like Apple games and extra storage on Apple and stuff like that. So I was like, well, let me just give that a try. I'm not a big fan of the Apple interface. I'll be honest. Like the UI is not as streamlined in my opinion, but saved me money. So whatevs.
You can understand that.
Well, I mean, I got to pay for all the filament for my new printer somehow.
Yeah, you got to count the penny.
That's right. I got to print more little objective tokens because I need them for all of the games now, apparently. I'm going to have a problem. So, anyways, Drew, gaming. So we got MCP. Tell me about MCP. What did you like about MCP? I'm always curious because that's been a game that in our local scene has not taken off very well, and I don't understand because there's so much that I find really unique and compelling about the game, but globally, it's a huge game.
Yeah, I feel like my local scene, it's like me and 2 other guys.
Okay.
So it's not huge, but we usually meet like once a week sometimes. But I mean, I wish it would take off more. I think once I get more time, I'm going to try to focus into it. But the big thing that I love about the game is just like each character feels like its own character.
Totally.
It could like even like you're playing Spider-Man, it doesn't feel like just an offshoot of like Punisher or something like that. It feels like Spider-Man. And like there's the moment that I realized that I loved the game was I was playing with like my first game playing with somebody, and we were playing the rules completely wrong. So
nice.
I think that happens with most people.
Yep.
Yeah. And then like there was one point where like I was trying to score a point, and like I had Spider-Man sitting on like a point, and he just does like a superpower. He like pulls the guy in, and then he just like jumps over him to get on the point. And that was like the last move he scores the point. And I was like, that feels like something Spider-Man would do.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna punch you. I'm just gonna pull you out of the way. And then the fact that you can throw around terrain and like clear a board is I love the aspect of that. And it feels like every time you're playing a game, you're kind of playing a story. And with comic books, it kind of frees up the reason why somebody would fight somebody else.
Yeah.
So you don't have like the lore stuff where Captain America wouldn't fight Iron Man. Like, of course he would.
Yeah. Civil War, baby.
It's happened. It happened.
Documented.
Would Captain America team up with Red Skull? maybe.
Maybe.
Hard to tell.
Who
Maybe
knows?
it'd be hard to do, but that's one of the big things I love about it. Like the rules feel great. It feels like every character doesn't. They have their day in the sun.
Yeah.
Where they're able to like do something. You're able to make each character work. It doesn't feel like I'm going to play Black Widow and she's not going to feel great. She still feels good, but she's probably not the most optimized. And it feels. I love how like. Atomic Mass deals with like how they balance characters.
Oh, totally.
Making sure that everybody's still in line with each other. They swap out crises to add some new light to the game. That's all around. I think it's one of the better run games out there.
And one of the things I find compelling about the game too is it doesn't, in my opinion, and I'm not like a massive MCP, like savant or anything like that, but it doesn't necessarily lend itself to attrition as its primary means of gameplay. It's more of an objective scoring based game, control based, but you can do attrition. Like attrition is still viable. So you have multiple modes of play. And to me, I feel like the ceiling of skill level for that game is very high. It's got a high ceiling, right? Because you have so many interactions that you can consider and that you can tweak and you can play, and like things that you can work together with when you build your rosters of characters, and then you have the crisis cards and everything else, that go along with it, that you enter so many variables. I likened it to a buddy of mine who is a extremely high level Magic the Gathering player. And I told him one time, I was like, I would really love to see you play Marvel Crisis Protocol, because I know how your brain works. And it's like that weird, crazy brain that Magic players, like really good Magic players have, that is just like, I don't understand how you see these equations when you look at these cards, right? Like I'm just like sitting and reading through them like, oh yeah, okay, maybe, and I'm just trying to figure out interactions, and they've got like, the entire matrix is already happening, in their head. Yeah. And I liken it to that because you have so many rules interactions. And it's funny because I actually interviewed him, his name's John, about Magic on the podcast. And he talked about that, about just the interactions of the cards and the variety of what that offers as far as challenging, right? Of trying to figure out different ways to develop a strategy and whatever the case may be. And there's always that constant influx of new sets that they're coming out, especially when you talk about drafting, which he does. And I feel like MCP is kind of like that. You've got so many potential rules interactions that there's a lot of space to play with how you interact with the game and the rules of the game and how you actually play the game, because of all of the possibilities with all the different models and everything in there, which I don't see in many other games. Like I can't liken that to like 40K or Halo or something else, where there may be a wide baseline, but the ceiling isn't that high as far as complex interactions. It's kind of easier just to pick the one thing that works and be like, okay, this is kind of the one thing that works, and I just have to make it work faster than you have to make it work, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of customization to how you can build a roster to build it to like your play style.
Mm-hmm.
So having the ability to have all the different interactions, like just putting a character that's not part of like one affiliation, but putting in this affiliation because it does a lot better in that affiliation, just based on like for example, a good fighter, she can move after she attacks if she has been placed or moved. If you put her in Midnight Sun, they have their leadership lets you place her by paying a power. So then you can just guarantee to do that. So then she can attack twice and move twice in one round, but simply putting that in. And just looking for like those interactions, like building off of like rerolls, especially with like, I know you play Mutant with Xavier. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with that. The pass power around by just having like somebody who pays for something.
That's some big
round
stuff.
One. Yeah. I've seen it. It's been done to me.
Well, I'm taking mental note about the Ghost Spider thing in Midnight Suns, because Midnight Suns is going to be my next faction that I'm going to be playing, or affiliation I'm going to be playing after I exhaust my current X-Force drive that I have. So I'm ready to go.
Well, I'll be bringing Midnight Suns with me to our meetup.
Yeah, I'm interested significantly in the Midnight Suns. Mainly, I'm a huge. So when I came in, I'm one of those like comic book people that got into MCP because I liked comic books. I was obviously watching MCU and stuff like that, but I was of that side, I guess, of the coin, which came from comic books, and that's where a lot of my affinity for comic-related superheroes and stuff like that comes from, is from growing up reading comic books. And I always loved Ghost Rider. I always thought he was cool. But for me, and I have an alt sculpt that I had done, it's the 90s Ghost Rider with like the angular black motorcycle, not the like chopper style, you know, which is funny because I actually ride a chopper, but I like the angular, you know, ugly 90s motorcycle better. And I remember the Midnight Suns from all the Spider-Man comics I used to read, because Midnight Suns always came through there. They did a bunch of team ups and stuff like that. And it was always really pretty cool. So I always had a spot for that. And there's one character that I've always wondered if they were going to bring. And I think his name was Thrasher or Night Thrasher. He was a skateboarding guy with like batons, and he was in the comics and Spider-Man comics. And I swear he fought with the Midnight Suns, or he fought with Nova maybe at some, which is really weird because it was like a weird amalgamation of characters that he ended up in. I think it was Night Thrasher was the name, because I remember Spider-Man making some joke about him like going around and like throwing temper tantrums at night or something like that. I don't remember what it was. It was great. So I'm like, you're looking him up, aren't you?
I am looking him up.
I feel like
I've got to see this guy's design.
Yeah, I feel like he would be a good like two threat. But
yeah, you would.
Yeah,
I've seen it. Yeah,
you seen it? You seen it now? Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. I would love to see him come in. But I think that's one of the cool things about MCP, that as far as like game design, like the breadth of the option for them to design characters, and then also like they've done like do lots of alternate versions of the same character. It's so wide, man. Their source material is basically infinite. You know, it's bonkers. I mean,
look at comic. They have like over 100 years worth of comic to look through, and they're bringing in like some like friends and like meet the characters all the time now. It's like the Blackheart.
Yeah,
Blackheart coming in. The Orb. So they had to look up who the Orb was.
That's what I'm saying. There's some left field. There's some left field characters. I mean, the fact that they brought in like Man Thing and the Werewolf by Night and like Dracula and stuff. I mean, no like diss on those characters, but when you look at things like Fantastic Four's not here yet, you know, and how long did it take for X-Men to show up, right? And the Sentinels to get a buff, and you know, like where's Hobgoblin, you know, and Demo Goblin and like the Red Goblin. Like you got a lot of Spider-Man bad guys you can still look at, you know. The rest of the symbiotes, you know, like Shriek and all those, you know. Null, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be playing Null. He comes into it. That's for sure. I'll be playing all the symbiotes.
That's gonna be a good one. I could see them doing some really cool. And that's the other thing about MCP and what AMG's done with it, is because of the constant rebalances that they do, it's almost like a living game at this point, right? Because they're constantly going back and rebalancing the characters against each other, and it always breathes life back into the game every single time they do a balance pass, because those characters now are going to interact differently just by a few tweaks, right? And that can bring totally new flavor and life to a roster, you know, or an affiliation or whatever the case is, or splash, you know, you're splashing one in to a roster that it doesn't normally play on. And I think it's just cool, because it's one of those games that the possibilities are effectively endless, you know, and it just doesn't get stale. And especially now with the Crisis refresh they do too. That's a great game. It's a great game.
And then like in I think June, they've got a balance update coming.
Yep.
They're supposed to balance, I think they said 85% of all the models they have in the game,
which is bonkers.
So we get touched a little bit. Yeah, it could be just as little as like boosting their health a little bit, or they could get some new powers or adjusting.
Well, I suspect there's gonna be a lot of that, since they pushed the like the threat limit up on this new Crisis bulk, where they're going up into the 20s now. And they've got rid of like, I think they got rid of 15 threat, right? Or 16 threat. There's only like one or two that are 16 threats now.
Yeah, the 15 threat hasn't been around for about a year now.
Okay, so they got rid of 16 threats. That's the one they got rid of, yeah.
And then 16 threat, they had two of them, but you could avoid it based on how they redid their Crisis stuff.
Yeah.
And then the new stuff, they're doing a lot of like source. The new stuff coming out in June. They're doing a lot of like source stuff. Test dispenser, where you go up, pull something out of like a extract or a sort, and then it like exhausts it, and then it keep coming back to it.
I'm gonna legitimately try and find or design Maybe that'll be my first 3D design, is an actual Pez dispenser marker for the sources.
Just a big Pez dispenser.
It's a Pez dispenser, yeah. It'll be J. Jonah Jameson's head.
Yeah. And then one Stanley.
Yep. And a Stanley. It'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So what, how'd you get, so obviously I know you play Halo as well, and you said you came up playing the games. So I'm curious, were you an Xbox or were you a PlayStation? Xbox. Okay, cool. Yeah, that. I started on Xbox. I ended up getting sucked over in a PlayStation. And I'll tell you what did it for me. Red Faction. Did you ever play Red Faction?
No.
So it was a PvP, like first person shooter, like, FPS style game that you could customize your character, which was kind of cool. But the thing about the game that was kind of revolutionary was it had destructible environments. So you could legitimately like just blow the terrain out from under someone and kill them that way. You didn't necessarily just actually have to shoot the person and kill them. So it had that entire like environment modification thing that would happen in game. So I played a metric crap ton of Red Faction and Red Faction 2 instead of playing I think the early Call of Duties that were out at that point. I came over to Call of Duty under the first Black Ops, or maybe it was the first Modern Warfare. I like the original ones, not the ones that they just relaunched again, like, handful of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I started playing Call of Duty at that point.
Yeah, I started playing I played Call of Duty back when it was like on PS1.
Okay, yeah.
Played Call of Duty from there, Medal of Honor, stuff like that. It was like one of my grandpa's favorite games. And he had like a PlayStation. Now he play like Medal of Honor over and over and over again, to where he could tell me where everything was.
Oh wow! All right, come on, Grandpa. That's what's up.
Yeah, he enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
I didn't. I didn't like the early Medal of Honor. I didn't like that I had to stand still to shoot somebody.
Yeah,
but
too busy with the 360 no scopes.
Yep, can't do it. Can't do the trick shot. Yeah, but went from like GameCube to Xbox, and that's where I started playing Halo. I played Halo because I heard about it at school one day.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was talking about the flood, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Started playing it. Flood scared the Jesus out of me.
Oh yeah.
I got to the first level, and like that Marine falls out of the door, and I'm like, I turned it off.
You're like, nope.
And I didn't touch it until I played Halo 2. And then I got to play Arbiter, and Arbiter kicked that. So
that's quite the testament to the terrifying flood.
Oh yeah. I was only like 8, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an aging gap there, right? Because I was doing like LAN parties in college with Xbox, doing Halo, and because I think my first FPS was Counter-Strike. It was the original Counter-Strike on PC, and and that, I think that was prior to Halo, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was concurrent with Halo, but yeah, actually I can't say that. I guess my first FPS is technically Duck Hunt, and then GoldenEye. So that's probably technically my progression of FPSs, but
yeah, Duck Hunt would be my first FPS.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a classic. I went with my wife to one of those like retro arcade places, like it's like a pour your own beer kind of place or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were playing, and we went in, and I was like, "Oh, sweet, Duck Hunt. Let's play Duck Hunt." And I played it. I don't know for how long, to the point that my arm got tired, and she literally is like filming me going like, I've never seen someone play Duck Hunt this long and just keep going. And I was like, I don't know to tell you. I'm just in this, and I'm just like, I'm in zone, bang. Like got the high score. It was great. It was great. Yeah, it was crazy. That was actually the best I ever did. I was pretty stoked on that one. So did you so you went over, so what was your first system? Because you said you played Duck Hunt. Did you actually have a Nintendo? Because you said a GameCube.
Well, we had a Nintendo. I know, like, when I was really young, my parents got a Sega Genesis.
Oh.
So we had like Sonic and
you're one of those
Barney.
fancy folk.
Oh yeah.
Man, I remember the people with the Genesis were like the elitists. You'd come in, you're like, oh, you got a Sega? It looks so much better.
Yeah. It looked crazy. It was amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
I was very bad at the game.
The game's was like, I don't know if it was the physics of the Sega games, but it felt very different than Nintendo. I will give you that. Like, it had a very different feel.
we ended up getting a Super Nintendo later on, but we didn't have a lot of games for that one.
Oh, I was a heavy Super Nintendo guy. I was all about that SNES. Had all the games. When you
I think the first system I played a lot of was the N64.
See, I missed the N64. I didn't like. I had a buddy who had one, but I never got the N64. I mean, that's obviously where I played a bunch of GoldenEye with my buddy. But yeah, I never ended up getting that. I kind of just jumped straight to the PS1.
I mean, there's a lot of good games on the N64. So if you ever want to go back and load some bad graphics, you can do that.
Oh yeah, it's very pixelated. I have a Switch, and I almost exclusively play all the retro games. I don't like. I have a subscription to like Nintendo Online or whatever. I very rarely actually play an actual like Switch game. I think I play like, I don't know, Diablo 2 or something like that. I've played that a bunch, and I've played Skyrim on there, even though I used to play it, on like Xbox or whatever, or PlayStation. I don't remember what I played it on. Doesn't matter. But on my Switch is almost exclusively like going back and playing like Nintendo SNES and like N64 games, Sega games, that kind of stuff. And man, I suck.
I'm significantly worse than I used to be.
It's painfully humbling to go back and be like, why is Super Mario World so hard? I remember it being so easy. Like, this is the easy Super Mario game.
This is back when it was the only thing I did.
Yeah. Like, gosh, man, don't even. So there's this podcast I listen to called Remember the Game. And it's, are you familiar with it?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. Like before I tell you something, you know already. It's a stand-up comedian that's out of Edmonton, Canada. So he's a Canadian, obviously, and he might have been during COVID or before. I think it was during or right around COVID, because he wasn't working. He started this podcast where he goes back and he talks about these old retro games, right? And he was one of those guys who used to be like a retro game collector, so he used to have a massive like library of old school games and systems and stuff like that. And so he goes back and he reviews. He has a handful of buddies that he'll bring in, and they'll like review these old games that they played. And he'll actually play through them before he does the review, right? And half of it is him just raging about the game itself and like whatever like stupid mechanism or like weird like bounce back effect that would just kill you constantly, and all this kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And like and he eventually did Bionic Commando. I don't know if you ever played that for Nintendo. It was unreasonably hard. It's like a Ninja Gaiden kind of, right? It was just one of those games that was like extremely, extremely hard. And so I was really excited when he did the Bionic Commando, because I was like, I remember that game. Very few people remember that game from Nintendo, and I remember renting it from like the video store and playing it and being like, this is a really cool game. This is a very hard game. And that was back when I could actually, like, Nintendo hard was a thing, and I was able to do it. I can't Nintendo hard anymore, my man. Like, I've tried. I'm like, I'm just going to need to save state on my Switch because I'm going to die right now.
Yeah, those old games, they did not have save state.
No, absolutely not.
They're brutal.
Yeah. Ninja Gaiden was one of them.
Yeah.
I remember leaving the Nintendo on, but turning the TV off just so the game was paused and you can come back and you can play it later. And the best story I remember about Ninja Gaiden specifically was I had a buddy of mine who was obsessed with that game and could not beat it. And so he'd stay up really, really late trying to play it. And then one time he like calls me and he's so pissed. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, well, I beat Ninja Gaiden. And I'm like, dude, why are you so mad? And he's like, apparently I did it when I was asleep. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I was playing Ninja Gaiden last night, and then I woke up this morning and I was sitting on the floor. I had the controller in my lap and the credits were rolling. And he says, I don't remember anything about it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Are you bullshitting me right now? He's like, no, man, I'm so mad. I don't know. I never got to see the final battle. I don't know what I did. And so he went back and he couldn't do it. He was never able to beat it again. So like,
he went into like
that was
state.
He had to get that Zen state. So Zen, he fell asleep.
Yeah, he got the Zen state.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you got into Halo. You get terrified by the flood. You've played the Halo Flashpoint board game or war game, miniature game. I don't know. Do you consider it a board game or a miniature game?
I call it a miniature game.
Miniature game. Okay, cool. We can go with that. Yeah. Did you read the books?
I read all of Reed, and I started to read one that was like about different tales from like the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
What that one was. I think I got it in the book though. But it's just like told it from the perspective of like the Melodious Seed.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody gave it to me. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, that's it. That's the only one I read.
Yeah, what's your take on those core books?
Core book?
Mm-hmm.
All of Reach I read more recently, and it was not what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But because I played through all the games, I know what Chief does. I know how Chief acts, It didn't feel like cheap in the book
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. But I mean, I thought the writing was pretty good.
The real question here, Drew, is how did you feel about the flood?
Oh, there weren't flood in that one.
The flood, the
book,
The Flood.
Oh, the flood. I haven't read that one.
Oh, you haven't read that one?
No. I haven't read that one.
Okay, well, this is my mission to you. Read The Flood and get back to me. We're going to do a book report on that one because I got very strong opinions about that book.
Yeah, if I remember right, not good one.
Oh, extreme. Yeah. Yeah. It is a literary piece of garbage.
It's like, I want you to read this turd, and then I want to talk about how it's such a turd.
It's like the thing when something smells really bad or tastes really bad. You're like, oh, God, here, taste this. This tastes like ass.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? You just told me that you look like you're about to throw up. Why would I do it? Yeah.
The guy code. You got to do it.
That's right. Yeah. I had, that actually happened to me today. There's this, like snack box subscription thing that you can do called like Yummy Eats or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like a monthly subscription box of like international snacks from a different country every month. Well, they had Thailand was their state, their like country this time. And so they walked in and they're like, well, hey, they had a bag and they're like, hey, try, these are the snacks from my bag, from my, like box. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And one of the guys takes a big step back and he's like, I'm going to have to stand over here because I'm not going to be able to smell that. And I open up the bag, it's like a Ziploc and it had like 3 different things there. And I pull one out and they're like, you might want to smell that first. And I looked at it and I'm like, this is durian, isn't it? And they're like, yeah, it's durian fruit. And so like I smelled it and I'm like, ugh, yep, that's durian fruit. And I just chomped down on a big old, and the guy was like, I can't believe you actually ate that. I'm like, dude, I mean, that's the rules. You got to eat it, right? Like I've had actual durian before and it is disgusting. Smells like rotten feet. Like it's gross. Like it's actually like, you can't eat it in public places, like on buses and stuff like that. There's like rules about that because it smells so bad.
Yeah,
it was gross, and I did not like it, but I did it anyway. So durian fruit, don't eat it. It's gross.
Give it a try. At least one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. You be adventurous, don't be boring, but just know you're going to eat some stinky, rotten feet if you eat some durian fruit. So
we'll like that.
Some people, hey, everything's a thing. It's fine. We're not gonna shame here. It's all good. It's just not my thing. Yeah. It was rough. And I literally my guy was like, here, take some gum. He was giving me like some like mint gum. And I was like, oh, it was
another for the durian.
Yeah. Should have got rid of the durian. Anyways, man. So is there like anything that you've looked at that you are interested in trying that you haven't yet? As far as like games and stuff.
Just in general?
Yeah. Not durian fruit. Please don't make it durian.
Yeah, it's not durian. It's not durian. I mean, Prince could take with that. And I mean, diving into it now. I've been eyeballing it, I think, at the Adepticon.
Yep.
Because I saw some of the models that were there.
Mm-hmm.
Looked pretty cool. So, outside of that, it's not really much I've been trying to get into wargaming wise. Because I don't know if I have the bandwidth for more than probably pre-game.
Yeah.
The time, bandwidth, hobby time, stuff like that. Plus, there's also the barrier of finding people to play with.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Like I definitely had that issue where I probably still have the issue. I just haven't been indulging in it. But where I just, all the games interest me. And the reality is like the amount of time I have to actually play them is infinitesimally less than the amount of games I actually have. Like, if I get a game night a weekend, I'm doing great. Like I'm lucky. It's more likely I might get a game night in a month or every 2 weeks, with any consistency if I'm trying hard. And so I've got games that I am really stoked on that I want to play, but I just either don't have anybody to play with or don't have the time to do the hobby and get it together to play it. So like one of those games is like Bushido. I did Bushido demo at Nova last year, and I was like, this game is cool. Like it has a really cool dice pool mechanism, blind bluffing thing that you do for combat and fatigue and all this other kinds of interesting. It's very quick. It's on like a 24 by 24 board, so it's nice and small. It's like 1490 Doom. I also have that one. I can play solo though, so that one's a little bit easier. But it's on like a same thing. Like it's on like a little tiny round, like 24-inch board or whatever. So it's small. It's more verticality, So I have like, all these interests in these other games, but to your point, like finding the time to play them is real, and the bandwidth as well. For me, a piece of that has been looking at a game in like more casually instead of like hyper competitive or like hyper, like some of these games, like, I have that I'm like, I could play it, 3 or 4 times in a year and be like, that was fun, and just shelf it and I'll come back to it sometime later, if I enjoyed it or something like that. There isn't that pressure of like investment, but then there are other games like, MCP, I have a whole lot of models for because of my collector brain fired off when I first started years ago. I had this silly idea. I had this silly idea I was going to get all the models, and I was at one point I was like, I got to stop. I cannot get all the models.
Yeah.
This is too much.
Yeah, they keep doing that with them too.
Yeah, they do it because that's the thing is once I started realizing, I'm like, this is not going to end anytime soon. Okay, well, do I really care about Ebony Maw? No. Okay, then I don't need his model, or whoever, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. So what was it about Trench Crusade that appealed to you?
I've really been creating like a narrative style game.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to work in like how I could make like MCP or even like when Kevin was doing that campaign for our People Wreck. I was really craving something like where I can build up somebody from a nobody to somebody, like build up that hero. Because even Skill Team had kind of that system in place. And one of our local groups tried to do one, but it just didn't like pick up steam. I think we got through like a couple rounds and that was about it. And I was really craving like a narrative style game. And then the alt history for they really it was kind of a history buff around World War I, World War II kind of stuff.
That's cool.
It was kind of cool seeing the different takes on it. Because even the like Conflict 47 things was kind of caught my eye this year. But I can't get into that.
Yeah, I got a buddy locally who's got some Conflict stuff, and they also did. So what is it, Red Earth Black Powder or something like that? Something along those lines. I don't know. It's another kind of like in that same sort of alt history genre space. But they ran into the same thing. Like it's just difficult to find people to play. Like it's a big 40K area where we're at, and I'm always shocked at the resistance for people to play different games, and I'm never quite sure why. Like, what is it about the getting into other games that is challenging? Maybe it's the barrier to entry of like if I spend money on it, then I have to play the game a bunch or something. I'm not really sure, but especially in instances where like Bushido's a great example actually. Bushido, like this starter set, right? It comes with everything you need for 2 people to play. It comes with like all the miniatures and everything like that, and it's like $60 or something like that. And it comes with like little, like basically the rules and cards and everything you need, to play the game for like $60, which is crazy. Like that's so cheap in comparison to, 40K for instance, or any Games Workshop game.
Yeah. Or even MCP.
Or even even MCP because you spend $60, you get what, 2 models.
Yeah, then they do have a starter set with like a full roster now for $100. It's crazy.
Yeah, those are actually really good deals, man.
They are.
And you get with the starter decks, this is not old school Magic. With the starter boxes, like the affiliation boxes, right? You get, do you get dice and like measuring sticks, right?
Can't remember if it has dice. I do know it has measuring
sticks. I know it's got measuring sticks in there for sure.
Got 10 models and the tactic cards. I don't think it has the crisis cards. I can't remember if it has dice.
No, I think it does. I think the starter decks do have like a basic set of crisis card, if I'm not mistaken. Like 3. I think it's 3 and 3 though, because I think they started making them before there was 5, right? I like how you just casually bend over and pick one up. You're like,
old club.
For those of you not in here in the room, he just casually bent over and picked up one of the starter boxes that he just so coincidentally had right next to his desk.
Yeah. It comes with everything. Comes with back too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's great. It's a steal, man. It's a great way to get into it.
Yeah, everybody knows it.
Spider Foes, heck yeah. They're ones I always wanted to get. I always wanted to see more love with Spider Foes because I grew up reading, especially like the Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane eras of Spider-Man. So I was a big fan of that era, which was a lot of like it was the entire like Venom, Carnage era, the Mysterio, Green Goblin, Demo Goblin, Hobgoblin, all that kinds of stuff was all happening during that era. So I have this big soft spot for like Spider-Man and the Spider-Man Spider Foes, like all the Spider-Man bad guys. Also probably because people close to me really were into Spider-Man and stuff like that. So I was used to being exposed to them a lot growing up, which is pretty cool. So I want to see them on the table more.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. They do pretty well on the table now.
So what do you typically play?
I have been playing Web Warriors probably for about 2 years now. I just got my 50 game badge like last week.
Nice. So if anybody doesn't know, 50 game badge is on Longshanks, right? I almost said Jarvis Protocol. I'm like, that's not Jarvis Protocol. It's on Longshanks, which is basically like a tournament tracking software that you can track your games and stuff like that. And it has all kinds of really cool stuff. And it's completely just fan supported. This guy, he's like a genius and just does it out of a labor of love, I guess. It's amazing to me that he does this. And they have badges in there. So one of the things is when you get your 50, but correct me if I'm wrong, it's a rolling 50, right? So like you have to get 50 games in a year, and it's only current with the day that it is.
So like this time last year, if I got a game in, it would reset that game.
Right.
So it's like in 12 months, I have to get 50 games in.
Yes. Now, once you get the badge, it sustains, right? Like you keep the badge, or do you have to keep getting the 50?
I probably have 80 games. So
nice.
What players I have to. I probably pushed 100.
Rad.
Just based on how many games I've gotten in with some buddies and just not long. Tournaments I play in stuff. But yeah, I named them for a while. I think I'm going to switch out of them.
About ready.
I think I'm going to play them with that. Yeah. Yeah. I'll probably come back to them, especially if like they revamp Venom.
Yeah.
I'll play some Venom.
Have you played them with like the new Spider-Man that came out for the intro to the Spider-Verse ones? Spider-Man 2099 and all those guys.
Oh yeah. I've been playing Into the Spider-Verse detective card because I want to be able to play whatever spider people I want to play.
Nice.
Still, it kind of gives me a range of them. Yeah. Funny enough, the reason I started out, I was going to play Avengers because Captain America is my favorite superhero.
Right. Yep. Tracks.
And then my kid started watching Spidey and His Amazing Friend.
Yep.
And one of them loves Ghost Spider, the other one loves Miles.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'll play these.
Which, to be fair, much more compelling Spider people than actual Peter Parker Spider-Man, in my opinion, as well. I would agree with that statement. And can we also talk about the fact that Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy did all of the music for Spidey and His Amazing Friends?
Oh, yeah.
It is unreasonably good. Like, that soundtrack is unreasonably good.
It's so good.
It's annoying in how catchy it is. I would literally be in the car taking my kids to school, and we're listening to, and I'm just like,
headbanging.
Yeah, it's like, it's got that Fallout vibe, man. Patrick Stump, man. He's actually one of my favorite lyricists, actually. I've always thought that he was an incredibly intelligent lyricist when it came to writing, which is not something you expect in the genre that he emerged from. So I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Great music. Great. I was very surprised when I heard the theme song. I was like, really?
Yeah. Totally. I listened to it for a couple times through, and I was like, gosh, this sounds awfully familiar. And I remember, I think I looked over my wife one point, and I'm like, is that Patrick Stump? And she's like, who? I was like, the singer from Fall Out Boy. Because he did a couple of like soul, funk, punk albums like years ago, right? As just like side projects while Fallout was still at its heyday. And I discovered them a long time ago. So I'd listened to his other stuff, which was kind of a little bit more in line with kind of the theme songs from the Spider-Man, cartoon. And then it turned out like he's done a bunch of music apparently for a bunch of different shows for Disney that I never knew out of like left field. And I was like,
really?
How did he get plugged in to doing, whatever this random kids show is? I'm like, that's just, I'm here for it, man. I love it.
Great.
Yeah.
They did. But they're on their tour list.
Can we also talk about Into the Spider-Verse, those movies?
Absolutely.
Yo.
Those are amazing.
They're so good. I remember watching them with my wife, and she's an artist. And the art direction they went with that kind of like pop art kind of style that they did. Oh my God. And just the movies were good.
Incredible.
And they're some of the best Marvel movies to date, in my opinion.
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't know if it's Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse.
They're both very good. Yeah.
It's one of the two. One's two, or the best Spider-Man movie.
Totally.
In my opinion, if not one of the best Marvel movies, like you said.
Yeah. No, I would definitely rank them up there. For sure for Spider-Man, I would definitely rank them towards the top, maybe even at the top for all the Marvel movies, because I remember watching the first one. It had been out for a while, and I had waited. I knew there was a sequel coming, and I always got to watch things, chronologically, and I know that I wanted it in close proximity because I'd heard it was good, but I was a little skeptical. And then we were like 15 minutes into it, and I was like, holy shit, like this is really good. The music, I mean, the way they did the art and everything, the animation, and then of course just the story writing was fantastic.
Yeah. I knew it had come out, but I didn't really know much about Miles before then. This was before like got into like MPG or really got into comic book again.
Okay.
And I was like, went into it with kind of an open mind. Like I knew it was a cartoon, knew it was animation, not really something that my wife did too. I watched it by myself, and I'm watching this thing. I was like glued to the TV.
Yeah.
For 2 hours. I'm like, this is amazing. The story's great, art great, music incredible. And I'm like, I told my wife, like, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is like a lightning in the bottle kind of moment.
Oh,
here.
100%. 100%. I feel like that might have been the way it happened to me, where I started to watch it because I was like, oh, well, my wife's not going to want to watch it. And I got like 15 minutes into it and I stopped it. And I was like, babe, Meatloaf, come on. Like, you gotta come see this. You gotta watch this. Because it's good. It is real good. So highly recommend it if anybody who's not watched Into and Across the Spider-Verse to go stop whatever you're doing right now and go do that and then come back to this podcast. We'll be here.
Recommend it. And the third one's coming out.
I'm so stoked.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Then back, but I will wait as long as they want me to wait. I expect them.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. And it's like, so my wife didn't know about Spider Noir before that. She like totally fell in love with Spider Noir and like Punk Spider and all that, she's just like, what is happening? Yeah, Spider-Ham. Obviously you gotta love Spider-Ham. And she's like, what is happening? This is amazing. I was like, yeah. Then I had to explain the whole multiverse thing to her, and
Yeah. And then like just the voice actors they got to go on there, like Don Mulaney and Spider-Ham.
So good.
And then Nick Cage and Spider Noir.
Oh man, he nailed it.
Incredible.
Oh.
And then Nick Cage is going to be Spider Noir again.
I know.
In live action.
Yep. I was stoked. I love it when they keep consistent like voice actors on something.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Man, Nicolas Cage. Did you ever see him in God, what was that vampire movie he did?
Like the Vampires or something like that.
I gotta look it up now. It's like just a name of
Renfield.
Renfield. Yes. Did you see Renfield?
Yeah.
That movie,
no, I didn't.
That movie is just ridiculous.
It's like a good ridiculous or bad ridiculous?
Yeah, it's good ridiculous. Nick Cage was in Nick Cage fashion. He was 100 on that movie. It's a ridiculous movie. It's good. If you're into like kind of over the top, kind of B movie adjacent horror kind of stuff with comedy, it's really, really good. And the actor that's in there, I believe that plays the actual protagonist, not Nicolas Cage, is the same guy who played Beast in like Days of the Future Past and X-Men. And it's just wonderfully awkward. It's a great movie. It's quite good.
Yeah, I have to check it out because it did get my radar. Yeah, it was like Nick Cage as Dracula.
It was it was a movie. It was definitely one of those movies that I was laughing and shaking my head at during a lot. So it was really good.
Yeah,
and Nick Cage is just it's just a treasure for filmography.
For sure.
I was thinking about that scene from what was the one with the plane and there was a prison. Con Air, yeah, and he's got the hair and the sunshine. Oh, yeah. I just
campy.
Yeah, it's so good. But I have a soft spot for cheesy 80s movies, I have to admit.
A lot. Yeah.
Big fan for all that like crappy sword and sorcery and B movies and things like that. So
yeah, Con Air, it was always on TV. It was always running on like the TNT movie.
TBS, TNT maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Always running. So it's like, I watched it.
Yep.
Watched it over and over again.
Those are the good days. Did you ever watch Mystery Science Theater 3000?
No.
Oh man, it's like the original like movie roasting show. It was real good. That was a classic. So those guys on that Bad Movies Rule podcast that I watch, where they roast like B movies. They have a whole thing about Nick Cage on there. Nick Cage and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They are constantly bringing up all the time. And yeah, it's pretty good. So
They got plenty of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Plenty
Definitely.
of bad
Definitely.
For every gym, there's like 5 bad ones.
Yep. It was a crazy era though when you
Yeah.
think about it, like the 80s and 90s for film.
Yeah.
And I was talking to this with my other buddy Rodney, who when we were recording recently, and like that era, man, it never came back around. The action hero, era. It became epic multi-part movies because then it was like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, like all that kinds of stuff started happening. That were the big films,
Looking for that.
Yeah.
Now, not looking for the one-off anymore.
Yeah, we don't really do one-offs, and I understand, like from an industry perspective, the sequel is always guaranteed money, whereas like the original idea is not. But
More of a gamble.
Yeah, but then I still like when I went and saw Oppenheimer, and I was just like, we don't make art films anymore, like this is an incredible film, and it's why are there like one of these every now and again instead of it's just not another superhero movie.
They print money with them in you now.
I mean, that's the reality. And the funny thing is, I remember I was just thinking about this the other day, actually, that I distinctly remember there's a magazine called Wizard back in the 90s, I think it was. Yeah, it was in the 90s. That was like a comic book, like price guide, Like it was, it's kind of like Game Informer or whatever, like the gaming, video game magazines. This was a comic book magazine called Wizard. And it had like articles and all kinds of stuff and like editorials and ads, but it also had like a section where it would price like comic books, right? It was kind of like a library of, comic pricing. And I distinctly remember there was an editorial where they asked if you were to cast the X-Men as a movie, and this was in the 90s, like mid 90s, who would you cast in these roles, right? And I don't remember anybody else in that casting except for 2 people. Xavier and Wolverine. Wolverine, the person cast Glenn Danzig from the Misfits and from like the musician Danzig, right? And and damned if the Xavier cast wasn't Patrick Stewart. Nailed it. I was like, and then in like the mid 90s during Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they're like, oh, it's got to be Patrick Stewart, and it happened, right? So it's always stuck to me in my head. Yeah.
Good cap.
Yeah, it was. Hugh Jackman, I think it was interesting to me because I know Jackman was not that kind of an actor, and I remember seeing interviews with him talking about, especially in the later sections with like some of like the Wolverine movies when he was getting like really really big, that he definitely was kind of bemoaning the exercise routine, and the like way he said, I have to go to bed and like wake up at like 2 a.m. I have an alarm set for 2 a.m. to drink a protein shake that I set next to my bed, before I go to bed, like all this kind of stuff. Because that wasn't his thing, like he was like a theater guy, and like, dramatic actor and all that kinds of stuff. So I always thought it was interesting that like as soon as X-Men finished, he went and did Les Mis, the live action Les Mis,
Yeah, no.
Just somebody like shed 50 pounds of muscle and then, go do this.
Yeah, I remember watching. I was like, "What's Wolverine doing in France?"
Yeah, what happened here? This is weird.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. So, when's Magneto coming out? What's going on? What is this, like a period piece? This is a what if episode? I don't know what's happening. Oh man, yeah, that's good stuff. I always think it's interesting the casting of characters, especially when it becomes one of those like where it's an iconic piece, and the impact that has on the trajectory for the actor. Because Scarlett Johansson's one of those for me because I'm a big fan of Ghost in the Shell, like the original Ghost in the Shell anime, and I've watched all the standalone complexes many, many times. And when I found out they were going to do a live action film, I was very disappointed because I'm like, they're going to screw it up. It's going to be awful, right? And then when I found out that they cast Scarlett Johansson as Major, I was like, this is going to be a terrible movie. They've ruined it, but I'm going to watch it anyways because I love, Ghost in the Shell, and I just apparently wanted to make myself mad, I guess. And I was 5 minutes into that movie. As soon as I saw Scarlett Johansson and the opening scenes, which were basically the opening sequences from the anime, shot almost scene for scene, I was like, holy crap, she nailed Major. And that ironically was when my respect for her as an actor like went through the roof. Because I was like, obviously she's a cogent actor, like she gets cast and stuff like that. But that acting with like that sort of like devoid of emotion and like picking up all the walking mannerisms and things that like Major had and stuff. I was super impressed with her. So I love that movie. I watch it, it's like one of my comfort movies I watch whenever I don't know what else to watch.
Well, that's another one I need to watch. I know how popular it is. I haven't really gotten into anime until more recently.
I was going to ask, do you even watch anime?
Yeah, yes and no. I watch like American anime, like Avatar, Blvd, that kind of stuff.
Did you watch Dragon Prince on Netflix?
No.
That series is great.
No.
If you like Avatar, you should watch that one. That's good. The remake of Voltron was also really good that Netflix did. Right. And the He-Man one was good as well. You can see my nostalgia for 80s movies and shows because I eventually could be like, Netflix redid Darkwing Duck. I'm like, I'll watch that too.
I'm in the shop.
Sign me up.
Yeah, me and my wife actually started watching One Piece like last year, but it was the One Piece live action.
Okay.
Because, again, a good fan of thing.
Yeah.
One of the Discord groups. And so we started watching it, and she ended up loving it. She liked Zoro the most, but
okay.
She liked the idiot Luffy moment.
Mm-hmm.
And we like binge watched it all the way from season 1 to season 2, and then we tried to watch the anime version of it, and we just couldn't get past. She couldn't get past the campiness of it. It was just did a lot. It was made like the 80s.
Yeah, it's one of those like older. So I've never actually watched One Piece, and I haven't watched the live action. I've heard mixed things about it. Because I never really had a connection on that. Like Full Metal Alchemist, I definitely did. I watched the live action, which was not good in comparison to the actual anime. But I actually, there were some classics like Evangelion and what was the other one that I watched when my daughter was born and we were doing like the overnight, like I'd get up and like burp her and stuff like that and get her, back to bed and all that kinds of stuff, or feed her. Oh, no, Naruto, that's what it was. Like I'd never watched Naruto. No, not Naruto. Sorry, Inuyasha. Inuyasha was the one that I'd never seen. That my wife was like, "You've never seen Inuyasha?" So I binge watched Inuyasha and Evangelion and like a couple other anime during that era of my life because I had nothing else to do in the middle of the night, and anime is a great thing to watch when you're doing that. And there were some classics that were really, really good, but I found that I struggled with the really long series, which I think One Piece was a longer running series, if I'm not mistaken, because I tried watching like Bleach, and there's another one I tried watching. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, that it was just, well over 100 episodes, and I just couldn't hang.
I think One Piece is up to like 1,000 now.
That's bonkers to me.
Yeah.
Is it still going?
It's a lot to get there. I think so. I think it is. I think they're still making new episodes.
That's crazy.
I know they're remastering some. They're like redoing the animation on it.
I mean, even Dragon Ball had to end. I remember watching Dragon Ball Z. That's a show.
Still going. Dragon Ball's still going too.
Man, that show did not. You did yourself no service by trying to marathon Dragon Ball Z, because when you didn't have like a day or a week between episodes, and all you would do is go from one guy powering up for 20 minutes and 5 minutes of fighting to another guy powering up for 20 minutes and 5 minutes of fighting. It just like, wow, this is really tedious when you watch them back to back. It's like this. Could we please progress the story? Someone? No. Okay. We just have to yell at each other for another episode. Great.
Yeah. I was stuck in like the TV rerun era like Dragon Ball Z, where it was just like I kept watching the same 3 episodes.
Yeah, like
I have to watch with that. Yeah.
The Cell Saga was the one that I kept watching over and over again. I kept getting the Cell Saga, and I'd always want like, what's the next episode of the like whatever the Android Saga or whatever the thing was, right? And I'd always get more Cell, and I'm like, like it's Cell again.
I was it was like the first one. So it was like Frieza. It was like leading up
Frieza,
to it.
yeah.
I remember seeing like Piccolo, a lot of Piccolo. I don't remember what was going on with Piccolo. And then same thing with Avatar. I didn't know that. I thought Avatar was like super long.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's not crazy long. I think it's like 9, probably like 60 episodes.
Yeah, it's 4 books. It's quite a few. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I kept watching the same ones over and over again.
Oh, that's funny.
And I'm like, I think the thing's still going.
I loved Avatar, man. Avatar was so good. Did you watch the live action?
Yeah. I haven't watched the new one, but I think I tried to watch the movie and it was not good.
Yeah, it's subpar. I mean, I think the casting decision to take a bunch of unknown actors was a bold choice. But I mean, M. Night Shyamalan's known for those kinds of choices, so So
Mine the unknown characters because they have to be unknown at some point.
Yeah.
But just the choice of just bending and like rushing through all these episodes, story points, and not like extending them long enough to where they actually mean something.
Yeah.
Bold choices.
Well, I think that's always the problem when you're trying to take something that is as expansive as like Avatar and compress it down to like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah. Just all that like lore build up and like the story that's building up to like the climax of being at the North Water side.
And it's what also like gets you attached to the characters, right? You get invested in them is that time that you spend on target with those characters, and then try and jam that into a 2-hour movie. It just doesn't really translate as well.
But interesting clip.
Yeah.
I went into that clip.
That's right. Did you watch Legend of Korra?
I think I watched first season.
Yeah.
You didn't catch me as much as Avatar did.
That one was hard for me. It didn't catch me at the first time either, and for some reason I went back to it quite a bit later, and it ended up being really good when I went back to it. But there's something about the initial that was really difficult for me. I'll tell you what was also really good that Netflix did was the Arcane, which I guess is based off of a video game that I don't know anything about. And I didn't realize that when I first started watching it. I just really have a soft spot for like steampunk stuff, so I thought it was really cool. And
League of Legends?
That's what it is, yes. League of Legends, there it is.
Yeah.
Man, that was a good show. That show was excellent.
Yeah. I've watched a couple of episodes of that. I don't have Netflix. I have to like call it off. I have to like.
You don't have Netflix?
I don't.
What is this, 2002? Are you serious? I didn't know anybody didn't have Netflix anymore. Like,
nah,
is there like a moral reason that you don't have Netflix? Please tell me.
Because they made it where you can't have multiple households anymore. I don't like that. I feel like skipping away.
That's fair.
Skipping away.
They also raised their prices, but not as much as Spotify did. So I was just like, well, something's going to go because I'm getting tired of everyone raising their prices on me.
I hear that. We got everything else. We just don't have Netflix.
That's funny.
I have to ask my mother-in-law for the password.
So you have Hulu?
Yeah. Got Hulu, Disney Plus, Peacock, Paramount Plus.
Wow, you got Peacock and Paramount? You don't have Netflix, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm shocked. I feel like Netflix is still one of the staples, at least,
It's kind of. So that's what was nice about One Piece. It was on there. It was like, I can binge watch it all now.
Yep.
Shut me off.
Oh, Cowboy Bebop. That was another one I hadn't watched. I watched that one during pregnancy or during new parenthood as well. And I rewatched Trigun. I forgot how good Trigun was. I really like Trigun.
I used to watch during Tsunami and then Tsunami where they did the stuff after certain time of the night.
Yeah, on Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when I'd get my Dragon Ball Z in, or I'd watch Zoid or Gundam or something like that.
Yeah, and then eventually it became Crunchyroll, right? Didn't Toonami eventually become Crunchyroll or something like that?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had cable in decades, so
Crunchyroll is subscription now, is it not?
It became one, but I think when it was still broadcast, I may be wrong on this, but I feel like Toonami or late night Cartoon Network eventually became Crunchyroll, and then Crunchyroll broke off and did its own thing at some point in time. Could be wrong on that, but I feel like that was the order of events because it used to be Toonami, then it became something else, and then that became its own thing, which is now total subscription. So films.
I haven't watched cable TV in a long time.
Oh man, me either. I'm always surprised that they haven't started giving cable away for free. Right? Like with your internet collection. Like, hey, cable for $10.
It'll come.
Yeah, it'll come eventually, right?
We were watching the Kentucky Derby, and we had it on. We have somewhere we should watch cable. I don't remember what app that is. We were watching some cable for the Kentucky Derby, and my kids were watching it with us because we wanted to watch the horses race.
Mm-hmm.
And the commercial kept coming on. He's like, when are we going to watch this? And I'm like, this is how we live.
You don't even know.
You don't even know.
This is the way it used to be. This is why you don't have any patience anymore because you just flip to the next YouTube video. Oh, man. You didn't have to sit through 2 minutes of commercials just to get back to your episode.
At one point, they're like, why don't we just hit skip? I was like, there isn't.
I know. It's skip. You elitist child.
I used to have favorite commercials.
Yeah, totally. That was a thing, man. Oh, my buddy sent me the old Hero Quest commercial from the 90s, from 89 or 90, whenever it came out. I think it was 89 when that commercial came out. And there's a you wouldn't know about it because you don't have Netflix, but there's a Netflix series that's like a Remember the 80s sort of thing. And they go over like the different like, toys and trends and the shows and stuff. They did one for the 90s as well. And that one was really cool. It was like kind of a cool throwback to like all the stuff that I grew up like watching and toys I grew up playing with, and seeing them basically be like, in today's era, be like, this was a garbage cartoon that was made just to market toys to kids, And I was like, hey man, I like that cartoon.
Like Street Shark?
Oh, Street Sharks. Yep. Street Sharks was one.
Yeah,
Battletoads was one. There was,
I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the same way.
So, well, here's the interesting thing about TMNT though, is like the Turtles were, the comic book that spawned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was actually the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was extremely like dark. Like it was like dark. It was violent. There's cursing. There's all this other kinds of stuff in it. And it got cleaned up and kind of like whitewashed for, bulk consumption. So I would love to find some of those old school Turtle comics. Raphael was the leader back then too. It wasn't Leonardo. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. It makes sense why there were so many different like vehicles and stuff.
Yep.
In the cartoon. Cool.
G.I. Joe, all the big stuff, He-Man, just things that made no sense. That was the fun part, is like watching them talk about like how they would just put ideas together for toys. And it was just like, this makes literally no sense. But you know what? Hey, it's old, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I was watching a YouTube channel that was doing like, they do like narrative like games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of them was like Indiana Jones, and Indiana Jones had like a special rule for like you could roll a certain roll and knock out a Nazi no matter what or something like that. These like fake rolls.
Hell yeah.
And like they had like these big boards that they would create. They did like one on Jurassic Park. They did this recent one was on He-Man, and they were talking about all the names for the He-Man characters.
Oh God,
like,
yeah.
He-Man's always easy to remember what their name was. It's like, oh, that guy looks like a beast. What should we call him? Beast Man.
Beast Man.
That guy had 3 eyes. What should we call him? Triclops.
Yep.
What's her name? Was it Evil Lynn?
Yep.
I wonder if she's a good guy.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, that was the crazy thing about actually the He-Man episode was really funny for that show, because they talk about that and how they were just kind of like, okay, we need a bad guy, and they would just like throw shit at the wall and just kind of just come up with some like random ass idea and stuff like that. And basically like, so it's basically He-Man, Skeletor, and then like some other people, and we just, no one ever remembered who they were because they had just ludicrous names and or whatever the thing was. It's just nonsense. Yeah. I totally fell prey to the Turtles because I just recently, because when I was gearing up for this year, when I absolutely over evaluated my ability to play solo games and get hobbying done, I was prepping because my initial plan going into this year was I wasn't going to buy any new games or models, and I was going to play a solo game every month, in addition to like working through, I had like these hobby goals I was going to do. I have completely failed on those ends at this point in the year. Now, I have not bought anything else, so I mean, I'm still good there, but as far as the gaming goals has not been met and the hobby goals have not been met. But it's okay. I've readjusted. Of course, corrected. But leading into it, I was also trying to pick like a handful of games, because I could have like, I want to do a board game, I wanted to do a war game every month was my original idea. So I wanted to have games, like solo games I could do throughout the year. So one of the ones I'd never gotten was Zombicide. And I saw it because I'm like, oh, well, Zombicide's one of those games that you can play solo. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I've heard stuff about it. I never got it. I have a decent-ish board game collection. Not like people that have like massive board game collections, but I have, I got a few. And what sold me on it was that there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle expansion for it. And I got the White Death Zombicide, which is like the Asian samurai Japanese kind of style era zombie version, and the turtles are like the samurai turtles from like that like alternate. Cool. Yeah. So I was like, well, I gotta get these guys and paint them up because it's the turtles.
The
samurai turtles, man, it's amazing. So
it's really even a choice at this point.
I know, right? Exactly. I saw that. I'm just like, well, I mean, clearly this has got to happen. They have an option.
Exactly.
Well, Drew,
you're not alone on failing on your New Year's resolution.
Oh, what was yours? To tell me. This is great.
See, one of them was I wanted to read through the Lord of the Rings. I am halfway through the first book. But
there's a lot of riding and talking in the Two Towers. I'm going to just warn you. We're going to ride and we're going to talk. And we're going to ride some more horses and we're going to talk.
A lot of singing. Freaking Treebeard loves to sing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Pros, baby. Man, we don't ride them like we used to.
Yep. And then the other one was like build up the community a little bit in my area. I think there was another one. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I'm not making too many big strides on either one of those.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that for me. I obviously am working on the Trench Crusade thing locally, and we are getting past at my local shop the Conquest Less Argument of Kings. They did a second slow grow, and there's a tournament coming up for that next month in June. And we are discussing that we will do probably another Trench Crusade campaign after that. And then after that follow-on Trench Crusade campaign, which will be our second one that we've done here, my goal is to focus pretty hard on the latter half of the year MCP and trying to like get the MCP thing going, because there's plenty of people that I think would like the game in the area, you know. I don't know if it is a byproduct of just not having enough people to play with, you know, or the presence of the game isn't like anytime you walk in and go to the game shop that I go to, like it's always 40K stuff, maybe some Conquest, you know, maybe and BattleTech, you know, that stuff's always out, Magic, D&D, that kind of stuff's always being played. So maybe people just aren't seeing it. Or the interesting thing for me that I've noticed with MCP with miniature gamers who play other miniature war games is sometimes I feel like they look down on the superhero thing.
I can kind of see that. Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know if I'm just manufacturing this narrative in my brain, but to me, I'm always like, I'll talk about him like, oh, yeah, superheroes, okay.
Yeah, I think it's the IP.
Right?
I think it's the IP that it's connected to. I mean, whatever.
That's what, like, hey, I'm sorry,
Marvel's... How's that any different than Warhammer?
Yeah, right? Like, exactly, right? Like, come on. Also, you're not going to spend $1,000 just to be able to play a game.
Exactly. Yeah. You pay $100 and you can play a full team.
There you go, everything you need.
Everyone. Yeah. Yeah, I thought about doing like some demo days the game. I'm just doing that like a weekend. And I'm going to run like MCP and either Halo or Trench Crusade next to each other.
Nice.
Just sit up there. And whoever's interested will run 3 games at once. I need to.
Yeah, before my life kind of went sideways with some work stuff, we were doing small scale Saturdays at my local shop, which was basically we were doing skirmish level only games and epic sized games. So it was one of the two. Like, so no, there was if you're going to do 40K, you're only playing Kill Team. Like, we're not doing actual like 40K games. It was so that was like Trench Crusade. We were doing a Halo. People were doing like Malifaux. People were doing like Conquest, First Blood, I think is what it is, which is like the skirmish level for Conquest. Gaslands. People pulling out like indie games. We were doing Forbidden Psalm and some other stuff. So there's always like a hodgepodge of games going on. It was really cool. Like, that was kind of like my vibe. I was like, oh yeah, cool, sweet. Going here.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, people playing different stuff. MCP was there, obviously, because, you know, it's skirmish level. So people would play Infinity. People were bringing Infinity back. That's a game I thought many times about Infinity, but I won't touch it. The rules are just too crunchy. It's too many rules for me.
Money minded stuff. I thought about looking into it, but like if I look into that, there is I don't hook into it. I don't want to.
That's real.
Don't look.
You got to know your limitations. Set boundaries.
Yep. Exactly.
I feel that. One day I will get through my wall of shame because of that. But
you probably won't. You probably pick up a box behind me.
Yeah, but I mean, the rest of your space looks pretty good, man. If I turn my camera around, you'd see just a bunch of boxes of models. Well, you can see something back here. Just boxes of models. And
I know. I tilt the camera down, you'd probably cry.
Would I cry in joy because it would mean that I'm not alone in my guilt and shame for all the plastic that I own?
Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, oh, maybe I'm
not alone. Perfect. Oh, man. All right, Drew. I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for hanging out and talking about all the things. And hopefully people are going to listen to this and be like, hey, MCP, superheroes aren't so bad. I should play more superhero games because superheroes.
Yeah, great thing. They got the Night of the Goblin thing coming out soon.
Oh, I'm so stoked.
Great entry. Yeah,
that's going to be, I think, a good gateway. Even though I know that Schick said, Mike Schick? Yeah, I think it's Mike. Wilshire, that's it. Thank you. I'm terrible with names. That Wilshire had said like they didn't make it with an intent for it to be a gateway game necessarily into like main MCP, just as like an alternate way to play like more casually with like people that play board games and stuff like that. But I'm definitely stoked about it, and I'm real stoked about the X-Men coming out next year, and I'm glad it's coming out next year instead of this year, because I'm already annoyed that I don't get to pick Jubilee up this year, so I've got to wait. So so
like they pick everybody else.
That's right. Everybody else loved Dust and Nimrod and all the Sentinels and stuff coming out this year. I was like,
you can have them. I don't want them.
Well, so my ridiculous plan is I'm doing. I say I'm doing. This is my plan. Is to do, and I have a 3D printer now, so actually this is gonna be a lot easier. I just occurred to me, a display board with all of the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants in front of the Xavier mansion, and they're like rushing at each other because when X-Men 1 came out, the in the 90s X-Men, it was a 4-page fold out, right? That was the cover. It was done by Jim Lee, I believe, was the artist on that one. And it was my favorite cover that they ever did, was that X-Men #1. And it was Magneto and the Brotherhood, like Juggernaut and all those guys, and Mystique rushing at the X-Men, and they're all like, so like my plan is to build that as my display board for both of those guys and put a little scaled down version of the Xavier mansion in the background. So it looks like they're fighting in like the greenery and the trees and stuff. That's my plan.
Really cool.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Pretty cool.
We'll see if it pans out someday.
Yeah. And like the 92 Hickman.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The beginning where they run together. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because that's basically taken off of the cover of that. I mean, the art was better, obviously, because it was Jim Lee doing the comic book art. But yeah, that was it. Cool. So plans.
Yeah. Wait, my wife is bad out.
Do it. Yeah.
But I know she's listening.
That's right.
Hey,
wifey.
Hope you enjoyed the episode back.
Look at that.
And I love you.
Oh, that was beautiful. It makes me so happy. Nerds loving nerds. That's what we're about on this show. If you haven't figured that out yet, not nerds loving capitalism, because that's not really the thing.
Rent.
As we spend all of our money supporting capitalism with our plastic crack. But that's beside the point. That's neither here nor there. That's another show on another day. Drew, thanks, man. We'll do this again. We'll talk ad nauseum about things, because I think we can definitely do that again.
Hey, Dad. I'm down for it.
All right, buddy. We'll talk soon. Man, fuck.